Hey, Bricks Mortar Retailers, welcome to this week's training, and where I've called it the Cash Accelerator Blueprint. And I created this training because for many of my clients who are, who are all doing above $1 million and have got a couple of stores, they're looking at ways that we can expand their business and grow their stores. And this is one of the best ways that you can start to ensure that when you're starting to grow, that you've got the foundational setup. As you know, I'm all about foundationals, and I'm all about making sure that the basics are set up in our bricks and mortar stores before we actually start to grow. And this training here today will actually show you how to increase the amount of cash that you have in your store. And so one of the biggest mistakes that we make as bricks and mortar retailers, um, one of the big problems that we experience within our stores is actually this situation where we don't actually have cash in our business, right? We are obviously doing the sales, the revenues coming into our business, but then at the end of the month, when it comes to paying our suppliers, we're like, where is all our cash gone? It somehow disappears into this black hole. And that makes it very, very difficult for us at the end of the month to then start to pay suppliers, pay our team, pay ourselves. And it makes it really, really hard when we want to start to reinvest in our business. And this problem of not having enough cash in our business can be so systemic that if you don't get it sorted right now, before you start to consider expanding your business, you're actually just going to compound the problem. You've probably seen many businesses that have tried to grow really quickly, or they've grown, but they've magically, sure, they're doing a lot in revenue. Their revenue has increased, but you can hear the owner saying, I've got no cash in my business. I don't know where it's gone. And it's simply because they haven't taken the time to fix these areas in our business that I'm going to talk to you about today. And once you sort out all these things, you will then start to get to the bottom of this cash black hole within your bricks and mortar store. So this happens because, like I mentioned, we haven't set up the foundationals in our store, right? For many of us, like I keep saying, we're so busy running the day-to-day operations of our store, or we're really seduced by the marketing aspect and really trying to grow our business using marketing efforts without thinking about the foundations that are happening at the bottom. The foundations of our business is what we need to be thinking about, basically. Yeah, it's not very sexy. It's so boring, but these are the fundamentals that we need to set up in every business. This whole cash component that we really need to sort out as bricks and mortar retailers to help us get to, the first 10 million and then 20 million and 30 million and beyond in sales. So if we get this right, like I mentioned, this will help us get to the next level. This will also make sure that we have systems and procedures in place. And, I'm all about process, and making sure that we have these foundational things in place ensures that we are so on top of our cash in our business. That means, and this is a part of cash flow, which I spoke about 2 weeks ago, tracking, etc. But this is more about understanding the black hole and figuring out ways that we as retailers can be constantly looking at ways that we can be generating cash within our stores, because cash is king, right? Like I mentioned, we need that at the end of the month to pay our suppliers, our team members, ourselves, and eventually we want to start reinvesting in the business and to help with the growth, as well as getting outside funding. But we want to make sure that we get the fundamentals really, really right. And not only are you going to have increased cash, but if you follow the 3 things I'm going to get you to do, you will also have a much more profitable business, and it's going to be so much more organized. And really, it's going to give you some direction into what you need to be doing on a constant basis and how you need to be doing it to continue to drive your store forward and continue to grow forward. I have made the grave mistake of coming into the office without any water. Oh, well, shit happens. Okay. So there's that. Okay. So that's what happens if we get it right. So I want to run through briefly what you need to do in your store. Okay. This happened the other week. So I guess we'll start with number 2. which is understanding your average dollar sale. So many of us, we don't know what our average dollar sale is, which is really interesting because we've got some great point of sale systems that we are using within our stores, especially if you're already doing $1 million, which is what you should be doing if you're in this group. You should be looking at that average dollar sale on a daily basis, and you should be really understanding what's contributing to that average dollar sale, and also making sure that the data that you've got in your point of sale system is correct. So we're having an accurate picture of our average dollar sale, and there's no funny business happening at the registers, right? So our average dollar sale, it's exactly what it is. It's our average sale per customer, and this is so important as a way of increasing the amount of cash in your business. So, and it's a fantastic metric. We spoke about KPIs a few weeks ago, overall, and and it is the metric, one of the metrics that you need to have as part of your KPI dashboard, because it's a great way to track and see how your business is growing. It's a great way to track and see what initiatives that you're doing in store, and hopefully you're doing initiatives in store to grow your average dollar sale. So as you expand your bricks and mortar store, this is one thing that you need to make sure that you are all across. And so important, because the average dollar sale is, like I mentioned, a way to flush your bank account with cash. And the great thing is, it doesn't involve much marketing. There are so many strategies. You can have a search within the group that I've mentioned that you can use to increase your average dollar sale, because a lot of it involves training your team, right? Which doesn't cost you much money in marketing, but really educating your team and showing your team how to increase the average dollar sale. And by simply helping your clients and customers achieve the full solutions to the problems that they came into your store to achieve, right? Because we're all solving problems in the retail sense, and we want to make sure that we solve our customers' problems really, really well. And it's up to us and our team to make sure that we do that. So, one, we're going to make sure that we work on our team. The next part, a great way to drive average dollar sale, is to make sure that we've got our merchandising on point. Merchandising in store, but particularly at the checkout area. Again, Serge, I've got so many tips that you can use to increase the average dollar sale in your checkout as your customer is checking out. And beyond average dollar sale, beyond those strategies in store, many of us have got great loyalty programs which we should be harnessing, making sure that we're signing people up to our loyalty program, because the stats all show that people that are part of our loyalty program, that are loyal to our store, actually spend more in store and are more likely to spend more from us moving forward. This is a great opportunity for us to then market to our existing loyalty customers, and that doesn't cost a lot of money, right? Because we've already got their emails, we've got their SMSs, and we just need to think of a few strategies there as well. You can search for that in the group. So that's really important, to make sure that you have your average dollar sale sorted, and that means you know what it is, you've got strategies in place already to start to increase the sale. Because think about it, you can take the risk of expanding your business, but if you don't have these fundamentals of the average dollar sale already in place, sure, you might grow a little bit, but you're just leaving so much money on the table because your team aren't operating to the best of their ability, because they're not fully serving and helping your customers solve the problems that they came into your store to solve, and your merchandising is not on point. You want to make sure that you get this dialed in before you start expanding your business. And it's such a simple technique, because it constantly flushes your bank account with cash. And when you start to grow and expand your retail store and you have these sorted, you can exponentially grow the amount of cash in your business. And as you know, when you start to expand, you risk that black hole in your business getting bigger if you don't have the cash situation sorted. So average dollar sale, really, really important. Sort it out. Back is the excess stock. So number one, I should fix this spreadsheet, this PowerPoint. So excess stock, we all know what excess stock is. We have it sitting in the back rooms, in our offices, underneath the gondolas, heaven forbid. And so really important that we quickly realize that this is money that is sitting tied up in our stock that we need to convert to cash very, very quickly. And because if we have it sitting on our shelves, and if we don't have systems in place, then this is a bad thing. This is something that can continually happen within your store, right? As you start to grow, you're going to be buying more stock. And if you don't have a system in place to start to get rid of excess stock, then you are going to be, not only you're going to have cash tied up in stock, but you've got no way of turning that excess stock into cash. You're going to have space issues. You're going to have ordering issues. So there's a whole heap of things that need to happen so that you get this area sorted before you start to expand, and having systems in place to deal with your excess stock. And this is exactly, we see the large FMCG retailers do this very, very well. The large boutiques do this very, very well. They start clearing out their stock before the next season, right? And as bricks and mortar retailers, we need to be doing the same thing. So this not only stems from making sure that we've got correct ordering systems and procedures in place. We want to make sure that you are ordering based on what your turnover cycle is, based on the seasonality, based on your payment terms that you have with your supplier. So all of those things, it's a dance that you need to marry up. And yeah, so that's really, really important. So you want to make sure that you get all that sorted. I just had a blank for went blank for a second. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want a copy of this worksheet, just pop the word worksheet below and I will get it out to you. I lost my train of thought regarding excess stock. Yeah, so you just want to make sure that you have this bit sorted, because really, yes, I was giving the example of bricks and mortar retailers and fashion houses particularly. They do this very well, which is getting rid of stock before the season comes up, and we need to do the same. We need to make sure our ordering's on point, and we need to make sure that whoever is doing our ordering, and we have a robust system in place that's super accurate to then avoid excess stock. But this is the retail game. Excess stock happens. Sometimes we make a wrong forecasting decision. The season change, trends change within our store. This is just the game we're playing. So we need to be super on top of it. As soon as that happens, we need to have systems in place that starts to get rid of the excess stock within our stores and turn it into cash quickly, so that we can start to reinvest into the next phase of the season, of the cycles within our store. So really, really important. Okay, so that's making sure that we have a system for excess stock. Number 3 is expenses. So we all know we need to reduce our expenses. What I'm talking about here, and many of us, we might look at it occasionally, perhaps when the bill goes up, when we do receive some sort of invoice and we're realizing, oh my God, perhaps for utility or something like that, and the price has gone up, and that's when we start to react. And reactivity is not good. When you are starting to expand your business, you want to make sure that you have a system in place to constantly review your expenses. And you want to be doing this at least monthly, because once you start to stay on top of it, you will eventually, just through the action of reviewing your expenses, you'll start to pick up on things. And believe it or not, you will start to actually trim down your expenses. Excuse me. You'll start to trim down your expenses, and you can actually start to save money because you're actually putting more cash in your bank account. So that's really, really important. And I think it's a systemization of these expenses, coming up with some sort of system, which is what throws everybody out. So I work with my clients to create a system. It doesn't need to be super fancy, but it needs to be something that works for you, works for your store, and something that we can schedule in and get it done. And it needs to happen on autopilot. And eventually it needs to be a task, a process that we pass on to somebody else. But if we don't get these 3 things right, if we don't have these systems set up of managing excess stock, of driving and optimizing our average dollar sale, and making sure that we've got processes that we're continuously trying to improve our average dollar sale, and if we're not working on continuously reducing our expenses, then we're going to continue to perpetuate this black hole within our store where all the cash from revenue comes in and it basically gets lost in our store. And then we're wondering at the end of the day, at the end of the month, I beg your pardon, what the fuck is happening with all the money within our store. And really important, and I can't harp on enough, that we get this sorted before you start to expand your business. It's just three key areas. And of course, within those three key areas that I've spoken about, there's quite a bit of detail. So you can check up some of the trainings. If you want some help with this stuff, just reach out and I can walk you through that, help you with that. So it's time to land this ship. So in summary, I'm really big on systems and processes, right? Many of us retailers, we're not naturally good at this because we're so busy putting out fires within our store. And it's if we just take the time to think this through and create a system so then it happens ongoing into the future, perpetuity. And when we start to scale our business, we make sure these systems come across. That's the key there. That's the key to continue to generate cash within our business. Want to keep it simple. We can get overcomplicated in techniques and overcomplicated in ways that we can do all our tracking and measuring, but we want to make sure that we keep it really, really simple, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to delegate this task to somebody else. And we want to make sure that it's really simple and easy to follow. And you want to make sure you do that to the best of your ability. Schedule it. So really important that we have some sort of scheduling system. I alluded it to you before with the expenses. So whether you're using a written diary or electronic diary or whatever system that works for your personality and your store, you want to make sure that you utilize it so you can continue to generate cash. And of course, at the end of that, once we've done all of this, you want to make sure you've got a system in place to start to analyze the data that's coming through, because none of this stuff, it really makes any sense unless you're sort of going through it on a regular basis and making sense of the data. And that's why you work with a retail business coach who can help you understand what's happening within your store and then use that to start to make decisions. And then, of course, the final thing there is to take action. Yeah. Absolutely so important. Okay, so there you go. That's that's the Cash Accelerator Blueprint. That's how you actually start to create more cash in your business. And one of the best tips I can give you before you're thinking about scaling your business up to the next level. Like I said, if you want a copy of the worksheet, just pop the word worksheet below and we'll get it out to you. Until next time, catch you later. Much love. Bye.